Hey loves, and welcome back to Elena Tarot. If you are new here, welcome. I am so glad that you found this channel, and I really hope that this message finds you at the exact moment that you need it. And if you are already part of this community, welcome back, loves. I have missed you. Before we get into tonight's reading, I just want to take a second to say thank you. The energy in this space has been so powerful lately, and I feel it every single time I sit down to pull for you all. Okay, so tonight I have something very, very specific coming through, and I need you to stay with me because this reading is not surface level at all. The title brought you here for a reason. There are no coincidences in this space. So if you felt pulled to click on this video tonight, this is for you. And I want you to really settle in because there is a lot that needs to come through tonight, and I do not want to rush a single part of it. We are going to be looking at where your person is right now emotionally, how they are truly viewing you beneath all of the surface level behavior, and what is currently moving in this connection that has not been spoken out loud yet. Because there is so much happening energetically that has not made it to the 3D yet. And that is exactly what we are going to uncover tonight. I also want to say before we dive in that if you have been feeling a little unsettled lately, a little like something is shifting but you cannot quite name it, that feeling is valid, and this reading is going to give you some very clear confirmation about what that feeling actually is. Okay, let's go ahead and get into it. So the very first message that is coming through, and I want you to really sit with this one because it came in strong before I even touched the deck. The first message is they did not see this coming. And I mean that in the most powerful way possible. Because whoever you are, you have been moving in a way that your person genuinely did not anticipate. And I need you to understand something very clearly. This is not about playing games. This is not about strategy. This is not about doing something calculated to get a reaction. This is about you finally operating from a place so deeply rooted in your own energy that the shift became undeniable. And your person felt it. They felt it before you even fully realized you had changed. That is how significant this moment is. I am also picking up on someone who has been going through something very privately. Like there has been a quiet internal transformation happening with you, and you have not broadcast it. You have not announced it to anyone around you. You have not posted about it. You have not made it a conversation. You have just been living it. Moving differently. Thinking differently. Responding to life differently. And even the way that you are showing up in your own daily life has shifted in ways that maybe even you cannot fully articulate yet. But your person, they noticed. They noticed before you said a word. And they are sitting with that observation in a way that is making them very, very uncomfortable. Not in a destructive way. But in the way that happens when someone realizes that the version of you they thought they had completely figured out no longer exists. And now they are starting all over. They are recalibrating everything they thought they knew about you. Every assumption, every expectation, every prediction. Gone, and that is your power right now. Do not underestimate it. For some of you, this shift is connected to a very specific quiet moment where you made a decision. No big announcement, no long explanation, no confrontation, no paragraph message laying out your feelings. You simply stopped. You stopped engaging in the way that they expected you to engage. You stopped showing up in the energy that was costing you your peace. You stopped performing for this connection. And that stillness, that silence, that has been louder than anything you could have ever said to them out loud. And they have not recovered from it yet. Let's move into the next message. Okay, the next message coming through, and this one is deep, so I need you to breathe for a second before I deliver this. The next message is your stillness broke something open in them. And I want to take my time explaining what I mean by that, because this is very specific and I do not want it to get lost. When I talk about stillness, I am not talking about someone who is cold or unbothered or emotionally unavailable. I am talking about someone who has chosen to protect their energy so fiercely and so intentionally that even in their most triggered moments, they have refused to let it spill outward. And that level of emotional self-mastery is rare. That is genuinely something that your person has never encountered quite like this. Not from you, not in this way, not at this level. What I am getting very clearly is that this person has been used to a version of you that they could predict. They knew which buttons to push. They had a mental and emotional map of you that told them exactly what actions would produce exactly which reactions. They had this quiet internal confidence that they understood you, that they knew how you would respond, that they could anticipate your moves, and then one day that map stopped working. And everything they had built their understanding of you on became completely irrelevant overnight. And that broke something open inside of them. Because now they are operating in this connection without the playbook they had always relied on. They are navigating without their tools. And it has exposed them in ways they were absolutely not prepared for. I am also getting that this person has been spending a significant amount of time in their own head recently. There is a heavy introspective energy around them right now, almost like they have been forced to sit with themselves and look at things they would have never examined if you had not made this shift. Your stillness held up a mirror to them. And what they saw in that mirror is something they are still processing, something they are still working through quietly. For some of you, this person does not even know how to approach you right now because they feel like they have to get themselves together first. They feel like they cannot come to you with the same energy they used to bring. They feel like the old approach will not work anymore. And they are right. And that awareness in them, that is something that your energy created. Without a single confrontation, without a single ultimatum. Let's keep going. The next message that I have here is they tested you and you did not flinch. And I need you to receive this fully because what I am being shown right now is something that so many people in these connections do not even realize happened until much, much later. You were tested. And not in a small way, not in a casual way. This was a deliberate, significant test. The kind that was specifically designed to pull you completely out of your power. The kind that was engineered, consciously or unconsciously, to make you react, to make you reach out, to make you shrink, to make you chase, to make you forget who you are in this connection and step into a role that was never yours to play. And you passed it. Without a script. Without preparation, without even fully understanding in the moment what was being put in front of you. I am picking up on something that happened in the recent past. There was an energy that came directly at you. Whether it was something this person said, something they deliberately withheld, something they did or did not do, or simply an energy they projected into the space between you. Something landed in your field that was meant to destabilize you. And what was supposed to happen in their mind, whether they were aware of it or not, was that you would break under the weight of it. You would reach out. You would explain yourself. You would justify your feelings. You would shrink yourself to make them comfortable. You would do what fear was telling you to do. And instead, you stood there. Grounded, rooted, still, present in your own power, and they genuinely did not know what to do with that energy. For some of you, the test was about silence. They went quiet on you, they withdrew, They pulled back, and they fully expected you to rush in to fill that silence with your energy, your words, your presence, and you did not. You matched that silence, and then you elevated it. You made it yours. For some of you, the test was about a third party, about another energy being introduced into the dynamic either directly or subtly to provoke a jealousy response or an insecurity response from you. And you saw it for exactly what it was. You did not take the bait. For some of you, the test was about your own worth, whether you would lower your standards, whether you would compromise your peace, whether you would accept less than what you deserve just to keep this person comfortable or close. And you refused. And because you refused, something inside of this person cracked open, and genuine, deep, unavoidable respect came flooding in. The kind of respect they cannot manufacture, the kind they cannot fake, the kind that comes from witnessing something real and being changed by it. I am also getting that this person is not someone who trusts easily. They have walls. They have history. They have a very guarded internal world that very few people ever actually get access to. And that makes what is happening right now even more significant. Because the trust that is building in them toward you as a direct result of how you handled this test is not ordinary trust. This is the kind of trust that restructures how a person moves in a connection, and you earned it not by performing for them, but by refusing to perform at all. The next message coming through is they are realizing you always knew. And this is where it gets very, very specific, because not everyone in this reading is going to connect with this message immediately, and that is completely okay. But for those of you it is meant for, you are going to feel this land somewhere deep. There is something that your person thought they were keeping hidden from you, something they believed they were successfully concealing. Maybe it was the full depth of their feelings. Maybe it was information about the connection or about themselves. Maybe it was the fact that they were watching you far more carefully than they ever let on. Maybe it was the reality that you were affecting them in ways they were not remotely ready to admit out loud. Whatever the specific thing was, they believed it was safely hidden behind their walls. They believed their mask was secure enough. They believed their composure was convincing. And then somewhere along the way, through nothing more than your presence and your energy, you showed them that you already knew. Not with a confrontation, not with an accusation, not with a dramatic reveal, just through the way you moved, through the way your energy shifted, through the quiet confidence of someone who has already received the information they needed from a source much deeper than words. And that realization is pressing on them right now in a way they cannot shake loose, because it means you were never deceived. It means every moment they believed they had the upper hand, you were already receiving the truth of the situation through your intuition, through your energetic sensitivity, through the direct line your higher self has to what is actually real in this connection. And yet you held that knowing quietly. You did not weaponize it. You did not throw it back at them. You simply carried it. With grace. With dignity. With the kind of composure that comes from a woman who knows exactly who she is. And your person is sitting with what that means right now. And it is changing how they see everything. Okay, the next message is coming through, and this one stopped me for a moment because the energy shifted the second it came in. The next message is you have no idea what you just protected yourself from. And I want to be very intentional with how I deliver this because I do not want this to land as fear. This is not a fear message. This is a message of deep confirmation, of divine validation. This is your higher power saying, I see what you did, and I need you to know it mattered more than you realize. What I am being shown is that there was a version of this story, a path, a timeline. And on that timeline, you made different choices. On that timeline, the test broke you. On that timeline, fear won. And that version of the story had a very different energy to it, a very different outcome. And I do not need to detail what that looked like because it is not your reality anymore. What I need you to understand is that the choice you made to stand in your power, to protect your peace, to refuse the role that was being quietly assigned to you in this connection, that choice did not just preserve your dignity. It literally redirected the entire trajectory of where this connection was going. A full timeline shift. A genuine energetic redirection. And your higher power is acknowledging that through this reading right now. I am also picking up on something very specific for a portion of you. There was a moment, and I believe you will know exactly which moment I am referring to, where you were right at the edge. Where everything in you that was operating from fear was screaming at you to do the thing. To reach out, to break, to react, to just make the discomfort stop. And something in you held. Something deeper than your emotions, deeper than your fear, deeper than the part of you that just wanted resolution. Something in you pumped the brakes. And you listened to it. And that listening is the reason this reading sounds the way it does right now. Because you are not in the version of this story where you are depleted and chasing and at the mercy of someone else's timeline. You are in the version where your energy is ascending and your person is the one being transformed by your presence. And that is exactly where a true divine feminine belongs. For some of you, there is also a message here about a third-party situation, an energy or even a person that was positioned almost like a detour on your path, something designed to pull you off course, to distract you, to drain you, to lower your frequency. And you did not engage it. You did not take the detour. Whether that was a karmic energy trying to get in, or even your own lower self trying to convince you to settle for less, you stayed on your path. And that decision is being honored right now at a spiritual level. Let's keep going, because there is still more. The next message, and we are moving toward the closing energy of this reading, but I am not finished yet because there is still a significant amount coming through. The next message is your person is humbled. And I want to sit with that word for just a moment. Humbled, because this is a very specific and weighty energy, and it means something particular in this context. It means that this person has had a genuine ego confrontation through this experience with you. Something about the way you have handled this situation, the way you have carried yourself, the way you have refused to be moved, has brought them face to face with an aspect of themselves they were not proud of, a version of themselves they had been avoiding looking at. And instead of deflecting or running or projecting it outward the way they might have done in the past, they are sitting in it. They are allowing it to do its work on them. And that is significant. That is growth being initiated by your energy. I am also getting that this person processes things very internally. They do not share their emotional world easily. They do not let people see them in moments of vulnerability. So the fact that this humbling is happening at all is already extraordinary. But the fact that they are not running from it is even more telling. It tells me that whatever is building in them when it comes to you is strong enough to make them stay present with their own discomfort. And that is not something they do for just anyone. There is also a very clear picture coming through of this person replaying things, going back through the history of this connection and looking at specific moments through completely new eyes. Conversations they had with you, choices they made, things they said and did not say, and they are understanding in hindsight what they could not see in real time. And a significant portion of what they are revisiting and reprocessing is centered around you, around who you actually are versus who they assumed you to be. And that gap between the assumption and the reality is where their humility is living right now. They underestimated you, and they know it. And it has changed the entire way they are approaching what comes next with you. The final message that is coming through, and I want you to receive this fully and without resistance, because this is the most direct and personal energy in this entire reading. The final message is, I am not the same person I was before you. And this right here is the truth that your person's higher self has been trying to communicate. Because in the real world, in the physical 3D space that you share with this person, they may not have delivered this message yet. They may still be in their process. They may still be finding the language for it. They may still be summoning the courage or the humility to bring this to you directly. But in the energetic space, in the truth of who they are, underneath all of the conditioning and the ego and the protective walls, this is what they carry about you. You changed them. Not because you set out to, not because you made it your mission or your project to transform this person, but because your authentic presence, your quiet power, your refusal to be anything less than exactly who you are, your ability to hold love and hold your standards at the exact same time, all of that worked on them. It got through every wall. It bypassed every defense. And it restructured something at the core of how they move through love. And they know it, even if they have not said it out loud yet. They know in a place too deep for denial that they are different because of this connection and because of you specifically. And that knowing is what is driving the energy you have been feeling from them lately. I am also getting a very clear message for many of you that there is a physical 3D moment coming. Something that is already in motion energetically that is going to land in your real life in the form of an action, a conversation, a significant shift in how this person shows up for you. Something that is going to confirm on the surface level everything you have already been receiving on the energetic level. And when that moment comes, and it is coming, I need you to meet it from your power. Not from relief, not from the part of you that has been waiting and hoping and holding your breath, from your power. From the version of you that always knew this was the truth of the connection. Because that is the version of you that created this moment. And that is the version of you this person is moving toward. I also want to speak to something that has been present throughout this entire reading, and that is the theme of what you did not do. Because so much of the power in this reading is not about an action you took. It is about an action you refused to take. You refused to chase. You refused to shrink. You refused to trade your frequency for temporary comfort. And in those refusals, in those quiet, unmade choices, you built something. You built a version of this connection that has the actual potential to hold the weight of what you two are to each other. Because connections built on desperation and chasing collapse. They always do. But connections built on two people who genuinely see and respect each other, those have a foundation. And you laid yours by simply refusing to compromise who you are. Divine Feminine, whoever you are in this reading tonight, you passed a test that most people fail. Not on the first attempt. Not the second. Sometimes not ever. And you passed it not because you are without fear. Not because this has been painless or easy or clean, but because something in you, something ancient and knowing and deeply rooted in your spiritual identity, refused to let you be anything other than who you truly are. And that is the most powerful thing a human being can do in any relationship. but especially in a connection as spiritually charged as this one. Your energy is sitting on a completely different frequency right now, and everything that is genuinely meant for you, every person, every experience, every version of love that actually belongs to you, is going to have to rise to meet you where you are. It cannot come to you any other way. And it will rise. I already see it moving in this reading. Okay, loves, I am going to go ahead and close the reading here. If this resonated with you tonight, and I have a feeling that it landed very deeply for many of you, please give this video a thumbs up before you go. It really does help this message reach the people who need to find it. And if you are not yet part of this community, please subscribe so you never miss a reading. I put everything I have into this space for you all, and I am genuinely grateful for every single person who keeps showing up here. You are why I do this. I will see you in the next one. Take care of your energy, loves. Take care of yourselves. Bye.